We're starting this deep dive today with a recognition that a whole generation within the African diaspora is slowly but surely losing its voice.
Mm.
And I don't mean they're getting quiet. This is a widening language gap that's impacting everything.
Mm.
A child's sense of self, their connection to their family, and, their place in a culture that spans continents.
It's an invisible erosion,
Yeah.
really, but the scope is huge. I mean, if we just look at Canada, where the African diaspora is one of the fastest growing demographics, the linguistic diversity is just staggering.
Right.
Recent data from Statistics Canada shows these communities report speaking over 250 distinct mother tongues.
250, wow.
That's a tremendous wealth of knowledge, but it also means that for thousands of children, those vital links to their heritage are just fading
Yeah.
fast because there aren't easy, accessible ways to maintain them.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is threefold. First, we need to move beyond the abstract and really understand the tangible human cost of this language loss. Second, we're going to investigate the concrete research confirming the developmental power of maintaining a heritage language. It turns out to be a protective force. And finally, we'll examine the market landscape and look at one specific pioneering solution, a social enterprise called ALA that is attempting to bridge this enormous gap. So when we talk about language loss, people often think about difficulty finding the right word, but the challenges run so much deeper.
Much deeper.
The sources we reviewed make it startlingly clear. The inability of children to speak their heritage language creates these real, deeply felt challenges that strike at the core of a family and at a child's developing identity.
What's fascinating here is how the impact is rarely linear. It travels vertically, across generations. We can actually categorize the human cost into three core challenges that the data consistently highlights. And they all kind of build on one another.
Okay, so let's start with the most immediate impact, the family unit itself.
That's the first core challenge, intergenerational divides. Think about the simple act of genuine connection. If the children only speak English or French, and their grandparents or older relatives, the knowledge keepers, primarily speak a heritage language like Yoruba or Swahili or Tigrinya.
The conversation just stops.
It does. The sophisticated layers of communication, they just break down. It's not just that they can't talk about the weather, they can't share intimate, emotional, or spiritual knowledge.
So it's not just awkward dinners where a child can't translate something. This is a systemic failure to transmit crucial emotional nuance, family history.
Even specific methods of prayer or celebration that rely on a shared, intimate vocabulary. Precisely. You lose the ability to joke in a certain way, to express deep respect using specific cultural phrases, or to receive wisdom directly.
And when those deep conversations fail.
Essential family bonds weaken, and those bonds are absolutely crucial for a child's secure identity formation.
Which leads us directly to the second challenge you mentioned, the impact on the child's sense of self.
Right. That's the weakened cultural identity. When the language is lost, the transmission of cultural values, stories, traditions, it becomes impeded. Or at least, it's heavily filtered through another language.
You lose the rhythm of the culture.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. If you can't hear the idioms, the folklore, the specific nonverbal cues embedded in the language, you develop a much more two-dimensional, diminished sense of belonging to that heritage.
And that can lead to feelings of displacement or otherness later in life.
Even within their own family structure.
Yes. And the third cost, which often goes unrecognized, moves into the realm of pure developmental opportunity.
Indeed, the lost developmental advantages. We know now definitively that children miss out on the proven cognitive, social, and emotional benefits that come naturally with bilingualism.
We're not talking about something abstract here.
Not at all. We're talking about real, measurable increases in cognitive flexibility and problem-solving skills lost simply because they don't maintain that foundational language. That's a huge opportunity cost for their developing brains.
The sources have painted a powerful picture of the risks and the human costs. But let's shift the narrative now to the profound positive power of maintaining that mother tongue.
Good.
It sounds like this isn't just about avoiding a loss, it's about actively investing in a child's future.
That is the perfect way to frame it because the research is genuinely compelling. Maintaining a heritage language is a powerful, tangible investment. It acts as a genuine protective force against many of the negative pressures that immigrant children face.
Okay, here's where the data provides a strong anchor. We pulled findings from researchers at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, published pretty recently, They state clearly that maintaining a heritage language strengthens a child's ethnic racial identity.
Hmm.
That makes intuitive sense, but what's the outcome of that strengthening?
Well, the outcome is incredibly significant. That robust identity, in turn, boosts their self-esteem and increases their overall sense of belonging. But the finding I find most critical, and the one that elevates language from a cultural issue to a social well-being issue, is that maintaining this language actively helps protect children from the harmful psychological effects of discrimination.
That is a staggering realization. A language isn't just a means of communication, it's a psychological shield. It builds internal resilience against external bias.
It does.
How does that mechanism work, based on the research?
It works by providing a stable, internal source of pride and recognition. In a context where a child might feel marginalized in the wider society, their heritage language provides access to a complete, affirming world. Right. If they are proficient in their mother tongue, they are fully literate in their own culture, which dramatically increases their sense of self-efficacy and confidence. They aren't relying solely on the dominant culture for validation.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the lifelong advantages stack up beyond just resilience, right?
Absolutely. Think of it as opening several doors simultaneously. You see enhanced academic performance, greater cognitive flexibility, that capacity to switch contexts and perspectives quickly, stronger socio-emotional development, and overall, a dramatically increased sense of belonging and engagement in school environments.
So these are fundamental building blocks for success and happiness.
And they are directly linked to maintaining the mother tongue.
So if the benefits are this clear, I mean, we're talking cognitive advantages, family cohesion, and even a protective shield against discrimination, why are we still seeing this knowledge being lost?
Yeah.
Why is the market failing these thousands of children?
That raises the core systemic question. When we map the existing resources available for the African diaspora communities onto a simple matrix, let's say comparing breadth of African languages offered against child-focused pedagogy, we see clear, distinct market failures.
So nothing's hitting both needs?
Not effectively.
Huh.
No existing solution effectively meets both needs at scale.
Okay, let's walk through the landscape then. Let's identify where the shortcomings lie, starting with traditional educational resources like, say, public school programs.
Right, so publicly funded supplementary programs, for instance, those offered by large school boards, they tend to have high pedagogy because they're structurally sound.
Sure.
However, their primary focus is often cultural history or celebration, not rigorous language proficiency. And critically, they are limited both in the number of languages offered and in their geographical locations. So high quality of instruction, but very low breadth and poor accessibility.
And what about the big names we all know, the digital tools that revolutionize language learning for adults?
Well, digital platforms like Duolingo, they're designed primarily for users who are, 13 and up? General.
Right, for teens and adults.
Exactly. When you apply their methodology to younger children, it's just less effective. So their pedagogy is lower for this demographic. And crucially for this community, they offer minimal to zero African language content. They fail both tests, low on child-focused pedagogy and low on breadth.
I know there are also some fantastic, really groundbreaking platforms dedicated solely to African languages, but I'm guessing their content isn't suitable for a 3-year-old.
You guessed it. Take a platform like Dialogue Africa. It's amazing, offering high breadth and depth of various African languages, but the content is squarely aimed at adult learners seeking professional or conversational proficiency.
So great breadth, but not for kids.
High breadth, but fundamentally low child-focused pedagogy. This systematic failure across the board leaves a massive growing void for children and their families.
And that void is precisely where the Heritage African Language Academy, or HLA, steps in. Their position as the dedicated, scalable social enterprise solution, strategically aiming for that crucial intersection of high breadth and high pedagogy for young learners.
HLA is pioneering because it was purpose-built to address this specific need. It's a fee-for-service social enterprise, meaning it's market-driven and sustainable, focused on delivering accessible, high-quality African language education.
With the goal of strengthening cultural identity.
And fostering that essential intergenerational connection. That's the core mission.
So if they are the only ones hitting that sweet spot, what are the key elements of their structure that allow them to succeed where others failed? There are 4, right?
There are. First, a truly child-centered curriculum. It has to be engaging, vibrant, and age-appropriate for the full spectrum of learners, from ages 3 to 17.
Okay.
Second is the unmatched breadth. They offer expert instruction across 20-plus high-demand languages, including cornerstone languages like Yoruba, Swahili, Amharic, and Tigrinya.
20 plus languages is enormous, especially compared to what's available in public schools.
It is.
Just hearing those names, Yoruba, Swahili, Amharic, highlights the scale of the challenge they're tackling, given the 250 plus distinct tongues reported in the diaspora.
They are strategically focusing on the languages with the highest demand and the largest diaspora communities. The third element is a flexible hybrid model,
Online and in person.
offering convenient online classes, which maximizes accessibility, complemented by optional in-person community events to reinforce culture and identity. This accommodates the complex schedules of modern, busy immigrant families.
And the fourth element really speaks to the quality and relevance, which is what separates them from a generic language app.
Absolutely. It is community-vetted authenticity. The curriculum isn't developed in a vacuum. It's built with continuous input from diaspora elders, cultural experts, and community leaders.
So it's real.
It's real. It ensures the material isn't just linguistically accurate, but culturally relevant and authentic. We can see this commitment to detail in the specific variations of greetings or acknowledgments they teach, like O in Yoruba, Asante in Swahili, or Dalu in Igbo. Mastering those nuances is crucial to cultural proficiency.
Ogine defines itself as more than a language class. That speaks to the holistic approach. So what is this four-part value engine that drives their total impact?
It's how they translate language proficiency into social benefit. The first part is cultural connection, providing a direct pathway for children to bolster pride, identity, and self-esteem through their heritage. The second is family cohesion.
Okay, actively enabling meaningful communication.
Yes, to bridge those crucial generational gaps we identified earlier, so they are strengthening the family unit itself.
That's a huge piece of it.
It is. The third element is cognitive development, using structured high pedagogy instruction to leverage all those proven cognitive benefits of bilingualism. And finally, unmatched convenience. Their online-first model makes quality learning accessible, removing the barrier of physical location, which is key for families spread across large metropolitan areas.
This sounds incredibly resource-intensive, though, particularly offering instruction in over 20 languages. Wait a minute. Offering that many distinct languages with high-quality instructors is immensely expensive. How does HLA, a young social enterprise, possibly manage that breadth affordably and sustainably when giant, well-funded companies like Duolingo can't offer even half that many?
That is the crucial strategic insight into their business model. They are a market-driven social enterprise, generating revenue from tuition fees directly from families and B2B contracts from institutions. But their key operational advantage, which allows them to achieve both scale and affordability, is their volunteer educator network.
A volunteer network. Okay, tell us more about that.
They recruit, rigorously train, and support a network of skilled language instructors, often first-generation diaspora members with high proficiency from within the community itself. This model dramatically reduces their largest variable cost, which is instructional salary costs, while simultaneously ensuring that authentic cultural link remains strong. This innovative structure is what makes the unparalleled breadth of 20-plus languages viable, allowing them to offer affordable tuition while scaling efficiently.
So that structural innovation leveraging community expertise to lower the cost barrier, that's the genius behind the model.
That's the key.
And their partners reflect this focus. Educational institutions, supply chain partners, and critically, cultural authorities like diaspora, elders, and embassies. But how do they track success beyond just enrollment numbers? How do they know they are achieving the human impact goals we discuss?
They are committed to rigorously tracking performance using 5 clear impact metrics. The first is standard, language proficiency measured via pre- and post-course assessments. But the second metric speaks directly to their core social mission, at-home language use.
Okay.
They aim for 75% of enrolled families to report increased, consistent heritage language use in the home after 6 months.
75% increased at-home use is a specific and ambitious metric. That separates them from traditional language programs, which often only measure what happens in the classroom.
Exactly. Measuring real behavioral change in the home is difficult, but it's the only way to prove they are succeeding in their mission of family cohesion. They also track family and student satisfaction through surveys, enrollment and reach, how many students and partners they secure, and the sustainability of their model is tracked through volunteer retention for their trained educators.
It's a robust system.
It proves they are focused on quality control and lasting social change.
And just to provide context for you on the lean nature of their operational plan, the sources indicate that to fund their entire 12-month launch phase covering technology, curriculum, initial staffing, marketing, they require only modest seed funding, illustrating the powerful efficiency of their volunteer-led and online-first model.
So to synthesize what we've discussed,
Mm.
language is far more than communication. It is critical for identity development, strengthening family bonds, and providing real, tangible developmental advantages, particularly for children in immigrant communities navigating a complex, new cultural landscape. ATL presents a compelling and structurally innovative model for addressing this profound cultural loss at scale.
The journey from identifying a pervasive human problem, this quiet loss of a heritage voice, to developing a specific, sustainable solution like ATLA is incredibly instructive. Okay, so what does this all mean for the future of heritage preservation?
It's a big question.
It is. I'll close with this question for you to consider. When cultural preservation is tackled not through purely nonprofit reliance or limited public programs, but using a sustainable fee-for-service social enterprise model built on community volunteerism, how does that structure change the long-term responsibility, sustainability, and ultimately the accessibility of heritage maintenance? Something to think about until the next deep dive.